Hey guys, it's Kayla and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be taking you through an in-depth day in my life as a work from home social media manager. I get questions all the time about what my job is like, what it entails, so I thought I would try and do as in-depth of a day as possible today. And I also asked you guys for questions on Instagram, so we'll answer those later, but really just showing you what it's like to be a work from home remote social media manager. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Kayla. I'm a social media manager and content creator, and this is my life here on YouTube, so you should definitely stick around and subscribe. It is currently 8:40, and before we start our workday, I have to make a coffee and breakfast, so that's what we're gonna do first, and then we'll sit down, open up my computer, and get started with work for the day. So let's get after it.
Trains keep running, hearts keep breaking, I keep writing songs about things that are out of my control.
Normally when I'm eating breakfast is when I kind of sit down at my desk, open up my computer, and get settled for the day. Normally around 9, give or take a few minutes, depending on how long it takes me to get breakfast, if I'm running on time for the day. But normally around 9 is when we sit down and get started. The first thing I always do every day is social media engagement. So that's going on all the accounts and commenting and tagging posts and all of that stuff. It normally takes me about an hour. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, sometimes it's a little bit shorter, depending on how many posts go out that day. Facebook and Twitter engagement normally don't take me long. I can quickly run through those. Instagram is normally what takes the longest. I try and start it right at 9 just to get done with it as soon as possible. If I have some emails or messages to deal with, then it's more like 9:15, 9:30, but I try and get it started as quickly as possible just so we can wrap it up. I think most social media managers will tell you that their day never looks the same. It's always different what you're working on, but for me, social media engagement is the one thing that I do every single day, always first thing in the morning. So I'm gonna hop into that and get going with the work day. It's a busy day. I have a lot of meetings, so we'll get into that, but first things first, let's get started with engagement.
I pretend they're not, and then wonder why the outcome's not what I planned for. Oh, 'cause lately I tend to answer with maybe it's coming.
Getting it going with my engagement for the day. I already did my Facebook and Twitter engagement, and now I'm working on Instagram. I need to hop on our engagement call in just a second, so I'm gonna do that. But pretty much just logging into all of my accounts, checking messages, responding to comments, tagging posts. That is what I'm gonna be working on, hopefully for the next like 30 to 40 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long today, and I have some time to get other stuff done before my meetings. I have a meeting at 11 and a meeting at 12, so it's definitely a busy meeting heavy day. Normally it's not like that. I just have a lot to get done and not enough time to do it. So I'm gonna hop into engagement, get this going, and then after that I need to fill out a meeting agenda for a client meeting we have tomorrow. And then I also need to do some Facebook scheduling for that client that we're meeting with tomorrow as well. That is kind of my plan for the next little bit. I'm gonna hop on my meeting and keep going with my engagement. It is 10:58 right now. I got all of my social media engagement done, and then I filled out that meeting agenda too that I needed to get done. Didn't get any Facebook scheduling done. I just didn't have enough time, but we'll work on that later this afternoon. Right now I have an internal meeting. It's just a working meeting that we have for an hour, so I'm gonna hop on that and work on whatever I need to during this meeting. I'm not sure like what I'm gonna be assigned or like what I need to work on. So gonna hop on that meeting. That'll probably last the full hour, and then I have a client meeting right at 12. So we'll be in back-to-back meetings. The client meeting should only last like 20-ish minutes, so not the full hour, but my next little bit of work will be all meetings, and then we'll be a little bit later for lunch today and then hop back into work. That is the plan, at least. I need to hop on this call, so I'm gonna go and talk to you guys later.
I've never been the one to spend hours together. I love my friends.
Okay, I just finished up my meetings. My internal meeting was pretty straightforward. We just met and everyone kind of got assignments. I just had to work on downloading images and uploading them to our scheduling platform for our company account. So I worked on that for the hour and got all of that done that I needed to. And then my client meeting was pretty short and sweet. They're a pretty easy client to work with. Overall, pretty good day. It's been busy, but we're doing good and making progress. The main thing I have left to do today is that Facebook scheduling. I really want to get it done before the client meeting tomorrow, just so I can present it to them and be like, hey, this is here for your approval. So we'll work on that later, but first I need to eat lunch. I'm very hungry, so I'm gonna go heat up my leftovers from last night. If you know me, I normally just eat leftovers or frozen meals for lunch because I do not have the patience to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we're gonna heat up lunch and then chill for an hour or so. I'm probably going to read my book because it's really good. That's what we're gonna do. I will hop back into work in a little bit, and at some point this afternoon I'll answer all the questions that I got too, so stay tuned for that.
But I like silence even better. And I love my parents, but I can't keep all my promises. Yeah.
Okay, time to hop back into work for the afternoon. The main thing I'm going to be working on is Facebook scheduling for the client we're meeting with tomorrow. Currently, they're scheduled until like April 15th, so there's still a few weeks of content, but I just want to get them scheduled out as far as possible. Facebook allows you to schedule content 75 days in advance, so right now that's till like the beginning of June. So I'm going to put together posts up until then. This client likes to review and approve their posts, so I put it all in a Google Doc, the caption, the image, everything in there, and then they go through and approve them, and then I'll go in and actually schedule them to Facebook. It also gives her a little while to review the post since there's already a few weeks of content scheduled, so I always try and do it at least a few weeks in advance. So she has time to look at it, review, approve, and then I have time to go back in and actually schedule it. We're gonna work on that for the next little bit. At some point, I'll take a break and answer the questions you guys submitted, but that is kind of my plan for work this afternoon.
Maybe I should start thinking less. Live my life how it fits me best. Start up for the ones who
Hello guys, I just finished up with that Facebook scheduling. I got them scheduled until June 6th, I think. So once the client goes through and approves all of the posts, which will hopefully be sometime next week, I can go in and actually schedule out the posts in like Facebook Business Manager, which I hate, but that's a whole separate tangent I don't want to go down right now, but we will get that account scheduled on Facebook once they get approved. It's 4:30 right now. I thought I would take a quick break to answer the questions that you guys submitted, and then we will do like our final messages check and everything before I log off for the day. I always just try and like look everything over really quickly to make sure everything is good to go with like posts for the next day, and like no one messaged me in Slack or something and I missed it. So answering your questions, then we'll do a final check through and then log off for the workday. Let me just answer a few like quick ones that I can just get through. Do you work for an agency or do you freelance? I work for an agency right now. I've worked there for like 2.5 years. I really like working for an agency because I can hop on at 9 and be done at 5, and I don't have to like constantly think about it. I feel like if you freelance, you have to be a lot more on it and like aware with your clients at all times, and that's not something I want to do right now. Eventually I'll probably move more into freelancing, but for now, like being a new-ish grad still, I guess it's like 4 years now, 3 years, I don't know. It's nice to work for an agency and like not have to worry about that stuff, so that is why I like working for an agency. Next question is, how many accounts do you manage? That's a great question. I think I have 6, maybe 7 clients right now, but some of them have multiple Instagram accounts, so I think it's 10 Instagram accounts in total, but I could be wrong. I think that's what it is. The accounts that have multiple Instagram accounts only have one like Facebook and Pinterest page, so it kind of like works out evenly, if that makes any sense. So like 7 clients and 10 accounts. I think that's what I'm at. Someone asked for any tips for people trying to apply to work from home jobs. I think it's the same as with applying to jobs in general. You just have to like go and apply to anything and everything that is out there. For me, when I was first applying to jobs where I lived in San Diego, only had so many social media manager roles, so I started applying to remote jobs just because it gave me more things to apply to, if that makes sense, and that was like before COVID was a thing. So I feel like it's easier now to find a remote job, but really just like filter your LinkedIn to only show you remote job listings and apply. There's a few questions like, how did you get into social media managing, or how do you become one? I'm still a little bit confused about it. I feel like there's 1,000,001 ways to become a social media manager now, and more people are doing it without experience. Like they do have experience in managing accounts, but not necessarily working working for like an agency or a company. Not trying to like undermine those people or their jobs. I'm sure they're great at it, but it definitely hurts. But it definitely hurts when people who don't really know what they're doing like try and become a social media manager, and then it just kind of like gives everyone a bad name, if that makes sense. But it's definitely a job where you can learn the skills without like traditional educational experiences, if that makes sense. But I feel like you should still have a good amount of experience or like work to show when you're applying to jobs or applying to clients to freelance with. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know what you're doing no matter what job you're doing, and especially if you're a social media manager, you need to have actual experience to like back up what you're doing. For me, I kind of knew going into college that social media was the path I wanted to go in. Social media is not a major at most colleges yet, so I decided to major in public relations, which I really enjoy because it gave me a strong foundation in writing, which is so useful no matter like what career path I end up on, whether I stay in social media or like branch into something else. Having a strong foundation in writing is so helpful, and I feel like I can whip out some writing like no problem because I just have it so ingrained in me from that program. But I did a ton of internships and like extracurricular activities focused in social media because I knew that was what I wanted to do, and then I just applied to jobs after college. It took me quite a few months to find a job, but I feel like that is normal for most people post-grad. Whether you're in social media, an engineer, whatever it is, it takes some time to find a job or the right job that you want out of college. So I would say just be patient with it. All of my like internship and extracurriculars in social media helped me land at my full-time role at an agency. Someone else asked, would love to know how you got your position and what the interview process is like. I kind of touched on how I got my position. I applied on Indeed, I think, for the role I have now. I applied on both Indeed and LinkedIn for jobs. There are so many job listings, you just have to like really be patient and filter what is legit or not. I think LinkedIn has a lot more like legit listings. I feel like sometimes on Indeed it's a little bit sketchy, especially with social media manager positions. So just be careful what you're applying to and make sure it's a legitimate company. My interview process for the job I have now was pretty easy. I had one phone interview and one Zoom interview and just kind of talked to them. I don't remember if I sent like a portfolio or examples of my work or not, but most social media jobs ask for some kind of like portfolio or examples of your work, so it's definitely something you should put together if this is kind of what career you want to do. A lot of social media jobs will ask in your interview process to do some kind of assessment, and I have really mixed feelings on these. That's a whole nother rant we can get into. I've done so many of them where I've put so much time, energy, and effort into them, and then they like completely blow you off or they like take your ideas. So just be very careful when doing assessments. I think there's a difference when they give you like theoretical examples versus when they give you like actual work for their clients or like their company for you to do. Just be aware of that and really try and limit how much free work you are doing for people. Last question isn't necessarily job related. I guess it is a little bit, but it's how do you make a time to read? And that is pretty much, if I'm not working, I am reading. I spend all of my free time reading, whether it's lunch, whether it's after work, mornings, evenings, I am always reading. I think a big thing if you are like working a 9 to 5, it's really helpful if you can read audiobooks. I can't always listen to audiobooks while I'm working if I'm like writing stuff. If I'm writing captions, it's really hard for me to like focus on listening and writing at the same time. But if I'm just doing like scheduling and stuff, I can kind of multitask and listen and do that at the same time because it doesn't take that much brain power. And I just kind of have to sit there and tediously do it. So that's kind of when I listen to audiobooks too, which has been a big way of how I've read more books this year. Okay, those are all the questions that were submitted. If you have other questions about being a social media manager or like what my job entails, you can definitely leave them down below or message me on Instagram and I will do my best to answer them. I'm gonna hop on, do my final check through and make sure everything is good to go, and then we will log off for the day.
Know how to say yes or no, that I need control and that I cannot just let it go. So I promise I'll take the pills that you feed me. I promise I'll let go of the parts of myself that I like. I'll be focused and nice, perfect slave to the system.
That is it for my work day, and that is it for this in-depth day in my life as a work from home social media manager. I hope this video was interesting or helpful if you want to be a social media manager or want to know more about what the job is like, or if you just like work vlogs like I do. If you're new to my channel, you should definitely stick around and subscribe. I do work vlogs all the time over here, so you definitely should stick around, join the fam. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave any comments down below. That really supports my channel and helps my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.